Okay, Abba Yah, we esteem you. We thank you for this Shabbat that you have given us, Abba. We pray over all the Kodeshim. We ask that your name will be revealed to all those who are coming into your name, who are being grafted in by the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach into the house of Israel, into the house of Yahuwah, Yahushua being our kinsman redeemer. We thank you, Abba, for having all these Kodeshim come today and listen to those who are here today and those who will hear this message later on. We give you thanks. We ask that your will be done. Hallelujah. Thank you, Abba.
Hallelujah. Thank you for everybody for coming in to Eagles Haven Ministry on our live Zoom with live audience coming to share and talk and ask questions and share their input and give questions on every matter that comes about that's going on today in our activity of serving Yahuwah. We just thank Him and praise Him for this great opportunity to come into your homes through your TV, your laptop, through your cell phone, whichever way it is. We appreciate it. And for you that are having Shabbat today, Shabbat Shalom to everybody. And we give you greetings and the love of Yahushua Mashiach and the Ahab of Yahushua Mashiach. Hallelujah. We praise Him and adore Him. The topic of the study is the different sect of belief systems of Judaism in the time of the Mashiach, which wasn't called Judaism then, which is called Judaism today. Okay, and what is the sects of today as well? What do we see? We know that many of the people that crossed over in the ancient times came over, and they looked different. They had the payots, they had the Nazir look, they had a different complexion. They dressed different. They didn't have no complex of way they looked and dressed. And they didn't fit in when they went to the land of Israel, as you see by some of these photos. Of course, the photos I have are people that fit in. They're the Kohanim, the Zadoks, and the people that are seeking to know and understand the truth. Okay. I'm going to show you some other pictures now. I'm going to give me a moment while I switch the screen. How many sects and denomination in Judaism? Now, I usually don't use the word denomination, but this is the term in Rabbinical Judaism, Jewishness. They use the word a sect of belief. And there's many sects. Abia and I have run into the ones not just wearing white and black, but the black and white stripers, which I'm going to show you pictures, the gold stripers, the all gray gray stripers as well. And the different hats and the different places they come from, they bring in that tradition. It's amazing that instead of them, when they came to Israel, they didn't conform to what the people of Africa, which Israel is a part of Africa. It is a part of Africa. There's even ancient markers on the borders in the land. That's why Mitzrayim always would try to take Israel to use the Gaza Strip as a walkway or usherway, and where the Gaza was the Ethiopian Sea, where they used to load and unload to go through all those areas, which is now today of Israel. And of course, the Philistines, they were a type of Greco offshoot before Rome that were merchant marines, and they settled in that area, and it gradually became that area. And it's surprisingly that the Palestinians today, they want to call themselves Palestinians, Philistines, don't look like those people, and they don't worship they don't worship the same mighty one of those people. And it's amazing because the word Palestine, the Palestinians, if you use that English or Latinized English term for Philistine with an F or a PH, or F's, phonetic sound letters. All these immigrants that came to Israel to work there were Shemitic, but they took the name of a Greco, Palestinians, because you could look it up online and look at the history and where they come from, a form of European Greco type. But you got to realize too, a lot of the Greeks had Persian look, right? Alexander the Great wasn't a white dude, just because his statue was marble white. Okay, he had black hair, curly, and brown eyes. So it's a little different than that it's been morphed to believe of the complexion of the Greeks and the Romans. Okay, let's go ahead and read this. Brother, can you see it good enough to read, or you want me to read it?
Yes. It says, how many sects of Hasidic Judaism are there? There are perhaps a dozen major Hasidic movements today, the largest of which, with perhaps 100,000 followers, is the Lubavitch. That's the biggest one. That's the one that I know of. Group headquartered in Brooklyn, New York. Other groups include Bavav, Bostoner, Belzer, Gerer, Zatmar, Vaznitz, Breslov, Pupa, Banir, Munkas, and Remenitz. There, how many denominations are there in Judaism? There are so many varieties of Jewish practice and belief that it is impossible to determine how many denominations of Judaism there are. However, there are three main denominations in Judaism: the Orthodox Judaism, Reform Judaism, and Conservative Judaism, as well as other smaller denominations, including Reconstructionist Judaism.
Stop there for a minute. Now, you got to realize they are saying these are Judaism, Jewish offshoots. Just like Catholic Church has parishes and offshoot. There's only so many parishes for a parish. Some are the parish of Lazarus, the parish of Mary Magdalene, the parish Miriam, some are Yehoshua, some are Yosef. There's different parishes for the Santos. In the same way, in Judaism, they have offshoots, but they're offshoots from Jewish Judaism. They are not offshoots of the house of Israel. Okay? You got to make that clear now. It's amazing when you get a flag of a YouTube, because I watch so many things and YouTube sends me things that I'm researching and watching. And the guy opens up and says, yeah, Judaism started with Moses. Judaism started with Abraham. Now, wait a minute. Abraham, Judah, the house of Judah wasn't born yet. That was one of his sons of the tribes. So they write like this, so the reader that is ignorant, and even their own people, are brainwashed to think that Judaism and Jewishness and Jews started with Abraham, Ishak, and Jacob. When we all know that Yasharel had 12 sons, actually 14, and one of them was Yehuda, not Jewish, not Judah, not Judaism, Yehuda. And they practiced the Torah, the Torah of Moshe. They didn't practice Judaism. They practiced the Torah of Moshe, of the house of Israel. All of them, okay? So by them saying this, even in Wikipedia and other dictionaries, they're brainwashing people, just like in Catholicism and Christianity, we overseed it and never researched, is Christian the authentic word? Is Christianity the authentic word? Is Jewish, and Judaism the authentic word? No. Those are all Latin Catholic words. Yehudi, Yehuda, and Yehudim are the correct words. All right, so, and we're going to read about this, the law is this, as well as the smaller denomination, including Reconstruction Judaism. And now this is an offshoot of Judaism, not an offshoot of Torah. Go ahead, keep reading, brother.
Okay, the Sadducees. By the 2nd century BCE, a sect called the Sadducees existed, whose name derived from Zadok.
Stop there.
Okay.
So you look at Sadducees, take away EES, Sadduce. Take the S, make a Z, because that's normal from Greek to English, Zadok.
Yeah,
okay.
Zadok.
So they're the Zadok. I mean, we're going to find out what the Pharisees mean and everything, and look at it in the Greek and Hebrew. So keep reading.
The high priest during the golden age of Israel, when King Solomon reigned, the beliefs of the Sadducees or of the Sadoks were fairly unique. They believed in free will instead of divine fate, and did not believe in an afterlife or angels. The Sadducees believed in the absolute divine authority of the written Torah. Now, I want to say something about that. So, if there were Zadoks, that means that they were literal priests of Yahuwah, because they're calling themselves Zadoks. Okay,
set
so
apart.
So they're set apart priests of Yahuwah. Yahushua HaMashiach was a Zadok. He had to be a Zadok to be the Kohen Hagadol, to be the Mashiach. Okay, so so the name is already perverted because of the action, because of the belief. So they believe in just the written Torah, and that's it. They don't believe in the belief. Okay, so Yahuwah said to Abraham that he was made HOLY, that he was made Kodesh through his belief. So this is something, there's a total different kind of belief. Okay, the Sadoks or the Sadducees believed in the absolute divine authority of the written Torah. Still, they were a rabbinic branch of Judaism, all right, who believed that the oral Torah and the rabbinic interpretation did not hold any divine authority. So if they believed in the word oral Torah, what their oral Torah is the writings of the writings of the rabbis. It's not actual Torah that was written on Mount Sinai.
Not the Torah Moshe, the Torah rabbinical sages.
Right, the Torah rabbinical sages. That's what I wanted to say. It's the Torah of rabbinical sages. It doesn't come from Yahuwah. It comes from the word of the mouth of men instead.
Now, one of the things it says, well, instead of divine fate and did not believe in an afterlife or messengers of Malachim, the problem is they don't tell you what they believe after you die, which they just say they don't believe in afterlife. What they do believe is reincarnation.
Right, and the whole concept of an afterlife is actually perverted. Also, the concept of an afterlife. You see, because what I'm trying to say is that there really is no afterlife. You have your life. Well, let me just say it like this: you have your life right here, and your life continues on.
You don't die.
Your life continues on. You do not. You may sleep with your fathers, but you're gonna be. Everybody's gonna wake up in the judgment, okay, or the resurrection, okay. So then, really, this is just the beginning of life. This is the beginning, not.
Come on with it.
So it's not really the afterlife, okay. This is just the beginning. It's a whole paradigm shift. The way because Yah wanted Adam to dwell with him. As a matter of fact, I believe that Adam dwelled with Yah for a very, very, very long time. And I'm not going to get into all that, but it was more. So a day is as 1,000 years. 1,000 years is as one day. Just think about that concept. And if that is true, it was a long time. It wasn't just a few days or a couple of weeks or whatever. It was a long set period of time. Okay. So Yah wants to sent the Redeemer to redeem us back to him, to redeem us back to the state that we were in the garden when we were dwelling with Yahuwah. That's the whole idea here. The whole idea, your flesh is going to go back to dust. Dust we are, and to dust we shall return. But your life, your nefesh that is inside of you, is going to go to Yahuwah. And how it's judged, we don't know, because we're not the judge. Yahushua, the kinsman redeemer, is the judge. Okay? We have an advocate, the kinsman redeemer. Okay? So the concept of the afterlife that they're talking about, heaven and hell and life and death and that they don't believe in that they don't, that they don't believe that you keep on living or whatever. I don't know what their belief, exactly what their belief is, but the way that it says it is kind of like, wait a minute, the whole reason
reincarnation, man.
Yeah, they're believing reincarnation. The whole reason for the season, like they say, is Yahushua, is to be redeemed. Hallelujah.
Keep reading.
Okay, so it says yeshivish, sometimes also known as Levish. These Haredi Jews are heirs of the Migdadim, literally opponents, who rejected the rise of Hasidic Judaism in Europe. These Jews traditionally emphasize the intellectual aspects of Jewish life, particularly rigorous Talmud study for men. Yeshivish derives from the word yeshiva, or religious seminary.
Now remember, their Torah of this is Talmud rabbinical, Talmud Torah, where they get the sages, they get 2 or 3 verses, put it in the middle. I've showed you pictures before. And then they turn around and have 70 sage and rabbis give their interpretation commentary of those verses. They consider those 70 rabbis that agree that they disagree more authentic than the Torah of Moshe. Go on, brother.
Okay, open Orthodox. The newest subset of Orthodoxy, Open Orthodox, was founded in the 1990s by New York Rabbi Avi Weiss. Its adherents, who consider the movement a reaction to a perceived shift to the right among the modern Orthodox, generally support expanded roles for women, its spiritual leadership, and more openness to non-Orthodox Jews. Major institutions: Yeshiva Hoviv Torah, Yeshiva Maharat. So, all these different sects of Judaism, I mean, there's no amount of yeshiva or of that can redeem us. Only the belief in the Redeemer can actually redeem us. So, a lot of people, and including myself, during my walk, I'm going to say that I started going towards Judaism because of my belief in that I'm Yehudi. So then I started going towards Judaism, but that's not going to save me. None of that can save me. The only thing that can save me is the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Reconstructionist Judaism, following the thinking of its founder, Mordecai Kaplan, was the first to accept openly gay students.
They're called the Jewish Renewal.
Yeah, Jewish Renewal. Jewish Renewal combines the ecstatic prayer of Hasidic Judaism with a contemporary ethos of gender egalitarianism, environmental consciousness, progressive politics, and appreciation of religious diversity, which is paganism, which is actually
Universal, yeah.
Yeah, like the universal Catholicism. Okay, it's spiritual father. So how is that different than Catholicism? Because you're putting all these religions into one. This is the same thing. Its spiritual father was the late Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi, who was born into a Hasidic family in Europe, but dabbled freely in the 1960s counterculture. Its principal organization is Aleph, the Alliance for Jewish Renewal, which also runs an ordination program. Wow, I mean, I haven't read this, but I'm reading this right now, and and what's going through my mind is I see the new progressive movement that we have in this country, right there. There it is. It's looking at you right in the face. All right. Now, I don't believe this is from Yahuwah at all. This is not from Yahuwah at all. And especially this next one, humanistic Judaism, founded in 1963 by Rabbi Sherwin Wine. This movement offers a non-theistic Judaism that is not based on divine revelation. Humanistic Jews celebrate Jewish culture, history, and holiday without reference to God and emphasize a rationalist, human-centered ethics.
Now, we researched this before, remember, brother? And we found out that the old books of humanistic books from late 1800, early 1900 were backslidden Jewish. Okay? And humanism, the word human is nowhere in Scripture in Greek or Hebrew, from Revelation to Genesis. Humanism is a religion, you have to believe in it, that you too can become a mighty one by your education and your good deeds of works, that you can become a mighty one, okay? Humanistic. You believe in humankind. Save the tree. Don't kill the whales. Protest in front of everything that is the protests about oil. Those are humanist, all right? And those are Yehudi. Those are Yehudi belief system. Their books, I didn't have time to put their books on humanism. It's on my files, but we just plotted it up right now. But it's a Jewish guy that wrote the books and found it. And here we are, people say, I'm only human, but the scripture never says we're human. He said, be perfect for I'm perfect, says Yahuwah. It says to be human.
Right.
The word perfect means different in English than Hebrew.
Have you ever dealt with people that are humanistic and to me that sounds like atheists?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and there's some really. I met this one guy. He was very very intelligent, extremely intelligent. And in aviation, sometimes you meet people that are really really smart. So, anyways, to make a long story short, this guy talked to me for hours about how there was no God and that the J-Man was a fake and it was all make believe, and he was stunned. I tripped him up so bad because I was like, man, you are so close to the truth, but you're just not there. You're right. God does not exist. But he didn't know. But I said, God does not exist.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
But Yah exists. So you're right. Jesus is a fake name, and he does not exist either. But Yahushua HaMashiach. So he was like really, and he was like, yeah, these Christians are lost. I said, yeah, they are lost. They're very lost. And I said, but you're almost there, but you're lost too. I told him you're lost also. Remember, man, I was telling you about that guy when I worked over there in Missoula. He used to have he had a big circle on his arm with an A in the middle of it.
Oh, he was that's anarchy or witchcraft.
Right. So there's a bunch of them up there. They like living up north, up there by by Spokane and Mizzou and Montana up there up in the woods. And anyways, so they're humanistic. And that's the only way I could explain to you. But he was so tripped up because I was agreeing with him on some stuff, but I would tell him stuff like, yeah, you know what, you're right, you're very close to the truth, but there is a Yah, there is a Yahuwah, and there's a creator, and there's Yahushua HaMashiach. And he was like, what is that? What is that? So anyways, I just wanted to put that in there. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now remember the Alliance of Jewish Renewal. They ordain people that claim to be a rabbi, a man or woman or transgender, to become rabbis. Now, I don't know how their credentials hold up in Israel, because a lot of credentials here in the United States are not standing in Jerusalem, because, of course, that's, Orthodox, ascetic, and all that. But they're all divided up too. So within their own clique of their cookie dough denomination of sect, they observe their credentials of who they ordain, and the other groups will not do it either. Just like we don't recognize, well, when we were Christians, we didn't recognize the Catholics didn't recognize us. The Catholics said that Christians are offshoot daughters run off. Okay, so they'll come back home to Mother Church later. That's what they say. All right, so look at the Reform now.
Reform, the largest affiliation of American Jews, some 35% of Jews identify as Reform. The movement emphasizes the primacy of the Jewish ethical tradition over the obligations of Jewish law. Let me read that again. The movement emphasizes the primacy of Jewish ethical tradition.
What?
The movement emphasizes the primacy of Jewish. So they put this first. The primacy means the primera, the first. The primacy of Jewish ethical tradition, not the Torah tradition or the Torah commandments, but the Jewish ethical. So what are the Jewish ethical traditions? So the primacy of Jewish ethical traditions over the obligation of the Jewish law. But it's not it's really the Torah. That's what they're saying, over the Torah. They're calling it the Jewish law, but actually it was a Levi who gave the law. It was Yahuwah gave the law to a Levi. Moshe was a Levi, not a Jew. So it's not a Jewish law.
That's right.
It might be the Torah of Yahuwah or a Levitical law, because it was given to a Levite. The mommy and daddy of Moshe were from the house of the Levites, not from the house of Yehuda. Okay, so let me read that again. Or there's a box in the way there, brother.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so the movement emphasizes the primacy of the Jewish ethical tradition over the obligations of the Jewish law. The movement has traditionally sought to adapt Jewish tradition to modern sensibilities and sees itself as a politically progressive.
Socialist.
Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? A politically progressive. We don't need no police. We don't need, anything goes. Anything goes. You can marry whoever you want to marry. Hey, if you want to be a dog, you can identify as a dog. We're progressive. If you want to identify as if you got a beard and that, you want to identify as a ballerina, you can identify as a ballerina. It's okay. You want to identify as a cat? This is progressive. Okay? Politically progressive and social justice. Oh, hold on. Okay, the movement has traditionally sought to adapt Jewish tradition to modern sensibilities and sees itself as a politically progressive and social justice oriented, while emphasizing personal choice, my body, my choice, personal choice in matters of ritual observance. Wow. What does that mean?
They're lawless.
Right. It emphasizes personal choice and matters of ritual observance. Okay, I want to say something. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to keep on going. Major institutions, Union for Reform Judaism. These are the major institutions of reformism. Union for Reform Judaism, Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, Religious Action Center, Central Conference of American Rabbis.
That's right. And a lot of the ultra-Orthodox and Hasidic in Israel do not accept them. They finally accepted the Chabad movement because they actually are outnumbering them now. They're growing so fast, the Chabad, which the guy never ever went to Lubavitch sect of Chabad, never went to Israel. He lived and died in Poland, Russia, ministered in those countries. And the only thing good about it, they believe that you don't have to be Jewish by race to be converted. You could convert, of course, because converting to Judaism, another form of Judaism, right? But you don't have to be from any of the tribes. It's a belief of the heart system, not a. But they do question you. They don't say, "Are you Jew? Is your mother Jew?" I've had Chabad people tell me that. So there, among this, we could have put a lot on the table here, and it would have been a lot to read. But there's a lot more than you think. So now we're going to switch to more pictures here. We're going to go to, this man is a Samaritan. Okay. This scroll is 3,300 years old, made with a chemical they do not comprehend. The spies have went in there and killed one of their rabbis. They don't call him rabbi. They call him the elders, superior, Levies. They don't call themselves Samaritans. They live in Samaria because that land was given to Asher Arafat of the Palestinian PLO. And he didn't want that land because there's so much archaeological stuff from the Sumerian temples there. And the Samaritans were actually called the guardians of the Torah, and they were Bedouins over 100 years ago. And when Arafat came in, he said, "You're the real Yehudi. The other ones are Zionist communists. So we want you to live in Samaria." And I give an edict, a word, that no Muslim or Palestinian will ever harm you, come in your village, come against you on a bus, or shoot your car or anything. Until this day, you have to drive through Palestinian territory in a bus strictly for Samaritans to get to their land, okay? Which I'm going to show you more pictures of. So let's go to the next one. Now, as you see here, do you see them with payots here? No. A bunch of Europeans that went to Israel. Okay. My boy's got a goatee over here. He's looking like he looks like Brother Jonathan almost. Look at that. All right. So there's no payots. Only one girl's got the Yehudi hat. Another one in the back. There's another one. Yeah, it's covered. These two ladies are elders. So I guess they don't have to. Anyway, so now we're going to skip a bunch of them, right? These are Igbos. They call them Igbo in one territory. In another territory, you got Uganda and Nigeria. In other places, it's called Igu or Ibu. All right? And they've been in the house of Israel for hundreds of years over there. They say, "What do you mean lost tribe? We're not lost. We've just been here all the time. We're living here. We're dust bored here." Now, look at these clothing. Do you see why? When they came from Morocco, they didn't like them. They didn't fit to Ashkenazi.
No, not at all. I saw just to let everybody know, there's a documentary. It's still on YouTube. You can still find it, and it shows the Moroccans being flown to Israel back in the 1950s, huh? About the 1950s, somewhere around there. And they're loading them up in these buses and trains and stuff, and they have these huge Torah scrolls, and all those scrolls got taken away from them. Once they reached Israel, they took them scrolls away.
And you know
from
what
them.
they do? They lie to them. They say, we're going to study them in the museum and take care of
Right.
them. You can take them home anytime you want. They never saw it again.
No, they never saw them again, and they stuck them in ghettos.
That's right.
They took their scrolls away from them, and stuck them in ghettos, and did not help them at all. They had to fend for themselves, and most of them, for the most part, they melted into the Arabic, because Palestinian.
Or they're in Tel Aviv. A lot of them are in Tel Aviv, with
Yeah,
stores, shops.
some of them are, but a lot of them they melted into the different populations there, because they
Right.
were not accepted by the European Jews. Isn't that awful?
It's awful. And they stole their babies too.
Right.
Now, this is from Mexico. These are called gray stripers or black and white stripers, right? They're from Mexico.
Okay.
And we know who these are. They're from Ethiopia. They said people were greeting them, the lost tribe of Israel's come home. No, we've never been lost. You guys just barely let us back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you see why they didn't like them? They did not look like
European.
Polish, Russian,
Right.
English, German, right?
Yeah.
Look at the homeboy's shoes down there. Look like a made in wood around here. See it?
Yeah.
Far right. It's got like Chinese, Japanese, right? And those are the type of kippas we like to use. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's some of the Yemenites that came to Israel put in ghettos. Didn't fit in, man. And their scroll was ancient paleo, older than any rabbinical Ashkenazi scrolls with a German Yiddish block writing.
Beta Israel.
Tribe of Dan. These guys, these are the ones we call gold stripers. And the higher up ones got the black coat with the gold buttons and the gold little trimmings, and put a little gold around the head. And then they're wearing the tires. These are called tires. And they look like tires. Okay, look like Firestone white track white ovals, with a fur on it. And they come from Poland or Russia. But you notice their tallits or the zazits are a little different color. And then here's another group of Europeans, but a little different. There's the one guy here, you have a blue one, and he's more like us, right? And the black and white are Hasidic. These are the different religions. Now, who are these brothers? Look at them sporting his red military boot issues. These are the Falash, the Ethiopian. When I was there with my friend, living with my rabbi Polish friend, he said, the Ethiopians are the best thing that ever happened to us, because they read Torah a lot. They carry a little book in their pocket. They read all the time. They pray all the time. And they're hard workers. They're not. My friend was a rabbi, and he said the Polish and Russian and European Jews are lazy. They just want to make babies and get 2,000 shekels per baby and just stay home and make babies and get money. That's what he said. He said the Ethiopians are hard workers, right? It's out of the mouth of a Polish rabbi. All right. Here's more Falash sporting their rifles. Here they are together, hanging out. Best soldiers. Now, when we go to the Western Wall, do you see these today? No.
Mm.
These ladies are dressed like my grandmothers from Mexico, right?
Yeah.
The scarf and everything. These don't look like you. Well, this guy's got a gray, on the far left, he's got the gray striper. But look at their head, their gear on their head. They had no payots on the side of their sideburns because they came from Europe. I'm sorry the pictures got mixed up, but these are the ones from Mexico.
Okay.
This, brothers, are the most feared Yehudi. Look at their tallits. They're surrounded by Muslim Afghanistans. When they read, they rock just like a Yehudi, and they're the most feared, and the Muslims leave them alone today in Afghanistan. These are the Mexicanos again from Mexico. Gold striper. Guy's got red hair, red beard. Of course, here's the Falash in Jerusalem. Reading the Torah scroll. They're probably doing a mikvah, or what they call a bar mitzvah. The guys I showed you earlier, there they are. The Pashtuns. We saw videos of them at BNI. And
That's Arabic writing.
Yeah. And they say they're the sons of Moses. Yeah. That's what they say. We're from the tribe of Moshe.
Well,
You know?
yeah.
Here's they are when they visit the wall, brother. You think the Ashkenazis were scared when they showed up? Uh-oh. There goes our white and black wardrobe.
Yeah.
This is what they really looked like back then, our brothers? That's right. And they get mad when you correct them. You stand there up there in the kotel and you point to them and say, hey, you're Abraham, Ishak, Jacob, and Moshe, all of them dressed like that. How come you dress like a Polish guy? Oh, that's old fashioned. We're modern. That's what they say. We're modern. Here's a rabbi sticking up. Of course, they call them Samaritans, but they call themselves the guardians of Torah. You really get that through your mind, because the words, just because they're living in the village and where the temple site of the Samaritan of Yahuwah were living, doesn't mean they're Samaritans. The Yehudi nicknamed that, and they had the nerve to say that, oh, in the book of Malachim, they went there from the Syrians, brought them there as migrant workers, and they were worshiping other mighty ones, and we had to bring Kohen there to teach them the right way. No, these are different people. Those original Samaritans don't exist no more. But they nicknamed Samaritans because they're living in the ancient 1,000-year-old town, well, more than that, 1,500-year-old town of Samaria. Now, here the funny thing is, what is the root of Yehuda? Yehuda, Samaria. Hello?
Right.
Right in the script, Yehuda, Samaria. That's the first settlement. And here they are with a scroll, 623 BC, carbon dated. Here they are again. That's my goal. This guy's wearing a sailor hat over here. I want to go visit them. You notice they got the blue, just like the Kohen's supposed to have the blue. This man is a sovereign. Let's see. I can't look at the pictures have titles. He's actually a sovereign of a certain part of Nigeria, ancestry with 700 lineage of Yehuda. Okay? They don't want to go to Israel. They said they won't welcome us. We visit there. We've been there. They don't practice like we do. We're fine where we're at. Here he is again.
Oh, I thought that was Lauren Fishburne.
It's of Minami Manmadi Kuno Hebrew.
Yeah.
This is the way their children look. Of course, Rabbinical Ashkenazi say women can't have a talit with the blue. Only the women, only the men. All right, but they wear it because there's nowhere in Torah says the women can't have tzizits. You know what I mean? Here they are for a feast day. Same tribe, Ibu. Oh, I don't know if I could show this picture. It's got Almi, but I'll show it to you. But I'm gonna have to edit it because if it's like that, I gotta pay 15 cents. If it's got that little stamp on it. And here they are from Morocco. Okay. When they showed up to Israel, you think they like that?
No, that's why they took their Torahs away and stuck them in ghettos.
Yep.
They didn't want them rolling the streets of Jerusalem going, hey, wait a minute.
In those days, 10 men from every language of the nation will grab the sleeve of the Yehudim man, saying, let us go with you. For we have heard that Yahuwah is with you. Not Lord, not Adonai, not Hashem. Yahuwah is with you. They go there to Israel to visit, man, and these rabbis freak. But they have a saying, oh, they're going to visit, they're going to go away. And these are different sects too. They read the Torah of Moshe. They don't read those sages. They don't read about what is his name? Not Mastema. That's one of the nicknames for him. But Matadron, the transformer, false mighty one that told the Rambam not to say the name of the mighty one of Israel. Okay, they don't have that story in their book. They speak the name of Yahuwah, okay? They don't have all the nikud and all the dots and tittles telling to say Adonai or Hashem or different expressions. They don't have that stuff. Now, they could be more set of belief. Some disagree with me that I showed you the modern day set of beliefs. I know there were sect of beliefs different in the time of the Mashiach. Some could be killed, executed for saying the name. Some could be killed and executed for reading all the books because they were put a moratorium to block out the book of Yesher, the book of Hanuk, the book of the sons of light and darkness, and the book of the different books and writings that the what we call the Nazarene or Nazir were reading and sharing what our Mashiach quoted out of his mouth. He quoted Enoch. He quoted the book of Yesher out of his own mouth. It's not found in scriptures of Bereshit or the first 5 books of Moses. So we know he read it from a different source. So we know there was different mini sects, but it was just like the politics today. They were the demon craft living large in charge at the time when the Mashiach showed up. Okay? They were living large in charge, and they were not high Kuani. They could not go in the set apart place. They were just religious politicians. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's go look at some of the suggestions of different sects. We're going to look at number 1, the first one. And the reason I'm using it in this order, it could be in any order, We did the video on the Nazir, but I'm still going to add them, but we're not going to do a thorough one like we did last week, 2 weeks ago, because we already did it. Okay. That they were a sect, very reverent. And the Sadducees and Pharisees were very scared of them because they touched not my anointing. And that's why they had to use the Romans to do all the dirty work. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at first off at Netanyahu, chapter 16, verse 1. This shows them in a bundle. There's a bundle package here. And brother can read them as we put them out there. I'm on the ISR or whatever. What do you want to read, brother? OJ, it's all up to you.
Okay. I'll just read from the scriptures, starting at chapter 16, verse number 1. Okay, it says, and the Pharisees and the Sadducees came and trying him asked that he would show them a sign from Shamayim.
Okay, stop there. Go ahead. We're going to go back to it. Look at verse 6.
And Yahushua said to them, mind, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees.
Wow. So be watch out for them, man, these brood of vipers, And let's look at 11 and 12 verses.
How is it, this is 16:12. How is it that you do not understand that I did not speak to you concerning bread, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees?
12
is, then they understood that he did not say to beware of the leaven of the bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. All right.
Go on. I'm going to go back to 1.
Oh, go back to 1. Okay. Okay. It says, and the Pharisees and the Sadducees came and trying him asked that he would show them a sign from the Shamayim. And he answering said to them, when it is evening, you say fair weather, for the Shamayim is red, and in the morning stormy weather today, for the Shamayim is red and overcast. You know how to discern the face of the Shamayim, but you are unable to discern the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign shall be given it except the sign of the Nabi Yonah. And he left them and went away.
Let's stop there. Now let's go back here. Now, for you are not familiar with it, some of you are very familiar with what we're about to do. We're going to start off with Sadducees. You click 45. Okay.
Which one?
I clicked 45:23.
Oh, okay.
In the Greek. All right. So it's telling you exactly who they are. And we're going to go to the Hebrew word, but it says exactly who they are. Zadukaios. Zadukaios. From Greek word 45:24, which means Zadok. And even in Greek, with an S instead of a Z. Sadducean. Here's the word right here my cursor is pointing to. Zadokim. Fall over certain Israelites, heretical Israelite. Sadducees, Zaduk, Sadukim. Okay. Now we know that they were not real Zadokim. Some of them were, because Yochanan and his father and his mother are of the 24 courses of the Zadok Kohanim. But not all of them. But not all went into the set-apart Kodesh place. So they can operate like levies. And a lot of them were part of the Maccabee, where they kicked out, actually, the original Zadoks. And they brought these Yehudi sympathizers of the Pharisees, they call them the Zadok lookalikes. And eventually they got rid of all the Zadoks. Okay. Now, if I look at this word, let's look at the Hebrew word for Zadok. which is Hebrew. Let's go to Nehemiah 13:13. You see it right here in Greek, what it is. They're not sad man who sings, okay? They're not fair you see and sad you see. That's what pastors say. Oh, the fair you see and the sad you see. They mocking say those words because they don't know that word is Sadducee is Zadokim. That's who they are. So now we're going to go to the Hebrew of Nehemiah 13:13. And right here is 66:59, 35:48, 38:81 for Levi, 66:59. The root source 6663, Zadok. Okay. You want to read it, brother? I'll put it on
Okay, it says 13:13. It says
yes,
it says, and I appointed as treasurers over the storehouse Shelemiah, the priest, and the Zadok, the scribe, and Padiah of the Levites, and next to them was Hanan, son of Zakur, son of Mataniah, for they were reckoned trustworthy, and it was on them to distribute to their brothers.
all right.
Okay.
Let's look at it again. This is the word right here. I know it's small in your screen, but you can see my little arrow pointing to it. And the root source is 6659, the Zadok Koini, but the root source is 6663, Zadok. It says the name of 9 Israelites. Yeah, but what a dictionary to say that. It would say the name of the son of Aaron, it was the High Koini. You know, what a terrible English dictionary there. You know, they watered it down. But that's where now we're going to look at the Pharisees. Okay. We're going to go back to Matthew 16. And I'm doing this slow and I'm doing this for you. So when you get your e-sword, you know how to do it. Okay. And a brother read this already once. Now let's look at it in King Amos. And it is Greek word 5330, and is Phaishios. Just like Palestine is spelled different, with the Philistines had an F. This is the same. Phaishios. Am I saying that right, brother? You think that's Greek?
Yeah.
So I really wanted to show you this because this shocked me. The root word source is 6567. Okay? 6567. And if you can read in that small print, it's somebody that's a separatist, a separate, dispersed, figuratively, specifically, also by implication, to wound, scatter, declare, distinctly, shew, and stain. Now, when I went deeper in that word, they shew away, they scattered away from the regular group, but it's also the word like you get stung by an adder. Wow, why would that be? Okay. Sectari, Pharisee, very religious. It is not somebody connected to the Zadok or Levi, not necessarily. Okay. They can be of the Zadok, but the Zadok had their own sect already. The Pharisees are living large, in charge, in their own little world, with their own little sect, just like we got Hasidic, Orthodox Judaism, and a whole bunch of other stuff going on in the Kabbalah. Okay? So I wanted you to see that for yourself. Parash. Now, this is found, it's amazing where you're going to find this word in Hebrew. Let's go to Leviticus 24:12, brother.
Leviticus 24:12. And they put him in under guard, and they put him in under guard, that it might be declared to them at the mouth of Yahuwah.
Of course, this is the story of the guy that went out and blasphemed the name of Yahuwah and cursed. So they brought him to Moshe. So in other words, he was taken to a place like a substation. He was under lock and key, watch out in a tent, because they're out there in the wilderness in tents. So they were in their own type of little substation. And let's look at it in the Hebrew. What? You mean the word Pharisee is to lock somebody up? Okay. And that is 65, 67. They separated them. They dispersed them. They locked them up. They wounded them. They scattered, declare. Okay, so they separated from the rest of the group because they're going to do a pending investigation, inquiry. Okay, they must have used this word for Pharisee, parush, as somebody that inquires, investigates the Torah. Okay, or the writings of the sages. But look at this other verse that it's found in too. In Proverbs 23:32.
Says, at the last it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder.
So that word stingeth like an adder, stingeth 65, 67 is the same word, parash, for Pharisee. Like a serpent, and parash, Pharisee, like an adder. Whoa, I don't want to be called a sting like an adder. You know what I mean? But they say that their words with their tongue, they like to divide the Torah, Moshe, but of course they don't do that no more. They divide the Rabbinical Talmud, and they sting you like an adder with their words to correct you. Even if they lock you up until they get you right. That's the Pharisee. Okay? These are the first two sects of belief systems. Keep that in mind. The next one is we're going to look at is a scribe. And you would think, well, a scribe's not a sect. Well, no, because when I did some research, no matter if they're a Pharisee scribe, Sadducee scribe, just like today, ascetic, Rabbinical Judaism, or ultra-Orthodox, or Reform, they have their own scribes, okay? And those guys got their own clique. They actually, it's a very, to become a scribe is just like today, to become like I remember one guy said, I was looking at some applications to hire some people, and I was looking for somebody that got a degree in English. They had all this stuff they had and degrees of, and none of them had the degree of English. Well, how they're going to type memos for me? How they're going to type up stuff? Am I going to have my secretary correct it? Edit it, correct it, redo it? And he said, I advise students always, if they go into a real good business, you have to get your master's in language of English, of how to write and type, punctuation marks, decimals, periods, everything, question marks, everything, especially in law. Okay. And so it's a career. To be a scribe is a career. You're never without a job. You're going to get paid. Who's a scribe? We got a few shekels for him to write something for us. You know what I mean? Who needs a notary? Huh? What do? We need a notary. Call somebody up, pay them, go to the bank, pay them, notarize and write some stuff, make it authentic. Okay? So it's a little career. It's a little extra income, right? You're never going to be without work to be a scribe. So let's look at it in two different places. Verses 66 times, and it's the same term where you go grammatias, like grammar, proper grammar. But we're going to look at it in Lucas 20:19.
It says, and the chief priests and the scribes sought to lay hands on him in the same hour, but they feared the people, for they knew that he had spoken this parable against them.
All right, so now, scribes, 11:22 in Greek. It's almost a word we use in English. You think grammar is an English word? No, grammar is not. Okay? Grammatosi or grammatias. A scribe's secretary, town clerk. You got those people in court talking away and they got shorthand. You know shorthand, man, that's a career. You know, if you know Spanish, different languages, and you're doing the telemachine for the court, man, you got a job for life. You know, you got a job for life, right? And one of the words is safar, which we're going to look at it in Hebrew, but that's in the Greek. Okay. In Hebrew, it's 5608, and it's in several places. Okay. It's Sopharim, and I want you to look at it and see what it is. We can go to First Chronicles chapter 2:55, and this is in the Torah. You want to read it?
It says, and the clans of the scribes who dwelt at Yabetz and Tiratites, the Shematites and the Sukkatites, these were the Kenites who came from Hamath, the father of the house of Rechab.
Okay, this was a sect. This was families. They were very knit together like levies. Okay, it doesn't mean they would work for whoever, and they were always in around the local place around the Pharisees and Sadducees, the Zadok or the High Kohanim, or the lawyers and the doctors, which we're going to look at. But this is who they are. Okay. Now, if I go to, you might say, oh, this is kind of weird and it's long, it's boring. No, it's not. Because you got the modern sect. Do they call themselves Pharisees today? No.
No.
Do they call themselves Zadok today? No, they say Levi. Right? But they would say, some will say, I'm Levi Zadok guy, the Zodakite, you know? They would say it. And so let's look at this. We know it's 5608. Safar, to score, mark a record, inscribe, recount a witness of battle. They need them for battles. They need them in celebrations. Declare, number, pen, knife, reckon, scribe, forth. And of course, the scriptures says, beware of the false tongue of the scribes, or the venomous tongues of the scribe, because if they want to pencil whip, they can pencil whip, you know? But it names who they dwelt in Yabetz. The name of an Israelite, a place in Yasharel. Why did they put Palestine there? Yabetz. The Terathi, like a gate, inhabitant, unknown terror. They don't know where it's at. They don't want to learn. These are the different people. The descendants from Shema, Sakatutite, like Sakut, Sakat, lived in tents or something. Israelite name of Saku, Saka, Sukkah, marketplace, or a tent. That's what this word means. These are the Kenites. Keni, the tribe of Kenim, Okay, night. All right. So they were very specifically tribal, they were cliquish, and they were teaching one another. The children learned the father's trade. That's the way it was. We always see stories. Yahushua was taught by the trade of a carpenter like Abba Yosef. And people think that Yosef was a carpenter only of wood. No, he did stone work too, because carpenters were stone workers, as well as making tables and chairs and cabinets. Okay, let's go now. That's number 3. Okay, we're not going to read the rest of the verses because it's almost the same. But in Yirmiyahu 8:8, this is in vain. The pen of the scribes, vain words. Okay, and Yirmiyahu really rebuked them because they were pencil whipping. They were keeping the name out. They were hiding things from the people. Okay? Now let's look at the doctors. We're almost done. This is very important for us to know where they came from and who they are. And we can read, let's go to Maashi or Acts 5:34, brother.
It says, but a certain one in the council stood up, a Pharisee named Gamliel, a teacher of the Torah, respected by all the people, and ordered them to put the emissaries outside for a little while.
Okay, let's look at these guys here. Some of you know already, I'm talking to the choir. We know what his name means. Okay. It's Hebrew for Gamaliel. He doesn't show the name. Here it is right there. A rewarding of the mighty. El.
Yeah.
Reward of El. El is a rewarder. That's what his name means. Great name. He's a doctor. Okay. Expounder. He's part of the rabbinical doctoral degree, a teacher. Okay. And by great reputation among all the people. They were scared of the people. So the people who recommended you, that settled it. Okay. But there's something about this guy we're going to learn more. Who went to his school? Lucas 20, chapter 2, verse 46.
And it says, and it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions.
So Yahushua was sitting with the instructors, the ones with the doctor and master degrees. That's what it says down here. A doctor, master, teacher. Okay. The Ashkalos. And he was conversating with these guys, right, during the feast day. And they were probably very puzzled because he didn't go to their school. Chapter 5, verse 17, same book.
And it came to pass on a certain day, as he was teaching, that there were Pharisees and doctors of the law sitting by, which were come out of every town of Galilee and Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of Yahuwah was present to heal them.
Now, you know,
I'll be right back, brother.
All right. He was teaching them. He was giving them a breakdown of Torah, that they believe they only have the doctor's degrees and masters and the permission by certain rabbinical hierarchy. Only they can do it. Anybody else could be stoned. And there were Pharisees and doctors of the Torah. And it doesn't say law. It says nom odidia kilos, expounder, teacher, expounder of Torah, a Rebbe. So they can be classified, these doctors are classified as a rabbi Also, this is the other sect, doctors. Now let's look at Ma'ashi 22:3, very important. I am indeed a Yehudite, having been born in Tarsos, Cilicia, but brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel. What? Having been instructed according to the exactness of the Torah of our fathers, being adherent for aloha, as you all know today. So this man, this elder, probably a 70 Sanhedrin, a Pharisee, Shaul was trained under him. He says he was a Yehudite, and he lived born in Tarsos, Cilicia. This is an area not far. It's Greek influenced, under the feet of Gamaliel. Okay. Now the word is this: to go to the school, the initiation to get in the school. You would come in and set up an appointment, and you would come and bring your water and bread. And you would stand there and farting from the book of Bereshit, Genesis, the first 5 books of Moshe, and you had to chant it by song chant, all 5 books in order to enter the school. That was the condition. Okay, you think these youngsters, they go to Yale and Harvard and they can't even remember how to write, especially the doctors for some reason. They scribble when they give prescriptions. They need to get an English degree. So you have to memorize the first 5 books just to get initiated to go to Gamaliel school. That's the reputation of this school. Okay. I wanted to show you that because Shaul was part of them. That's how deep he was. The other emissary, they call apostles, that's a Greek word though. The other emissaries, the Shelakim, you got to remember, they weren't as educated as Shaul. That's why Yoshua appeared to him for 2 years in Asia and spoke to him, and it says that he appeared to him in his resurrected state and taught him what to go back to Jerusalem and share with the other disciples to correct, okay? Because some of them were divided and saying if you weren't circumcised, you cannot be converted. So he went back to correct them all because he was a scholar. He had these degrees in Gamaliel, okay? And of course, he had warrants from the Pharisees. He was high up there. They knew who he was, right? They know his story of getting knocked off his high horse and Yoshua the Nazir appeared to him. They didn't believe it though, okay? That's the doctors. Now we're going to go to Nomikios, the 5th one, which is lawyers, okay? Lawyers. And that is in Lucas 14:3.
And Yahushua responded and spoke to those learned in the Torah and the Pharisees, saying, is it right to heal on the Sabbath?
All right, so what do you mean? It's not supposed to be 14:3 here. Doctors and lawyers. It's only 8 times used. Let me see in the King James what it says. There it is. 35:44. Nomikios, pertaining to the law, legal, expert in Mosaic, Torah Moshe. This sect of lawyers are rabbis also, but they are expert in the Mosaic Torah of Moshe. Okay? Different than the Pharisees, different than other groups. Because when they say they have a doctor, they could be a doctor of medical. Yeah, rabbis, doctor of medical. to see if you got leprosy or see whatever, your house is unclean or whatever's going on. Also, you could be a doctor of food product if it's clean and unclean. Okay. This is the degree of a doctor or a lawyer, of Mashiach, legal, ceremonial, Torah of Moshe, expert in the Torah of Moshe. This is another sect. This is a group passed down from father to son. Okay. I'm sure there were schools back then to pick this up, but usually growing up in it was easier. Okay. So that's number 5. And Titus 3:13.
Being zenas. Bring zenas, the attorney, the lawyer, and apoyos on their journey diligently, that nothing be wanting unto them.
So it's amazing. And Ephesians, the book of Ephesians, Ephesios is a pagan goddess. But they left it in the scriptures because that's the name of the city. Apollos, many of these guys, some of them had Greek names. And he had the Greek name of Apollos, the mighty one. Okay. And the first guy is, let's see, is it Zenas? No, let's see. Where was Zenas at?
Zenas is a pagan name too.
Yeah, is Zenas. In Christian is Zenas. He is a poetic. Oh, there's love, Javi, Jova, Jupiter. Okay. And let me click it. You can see it. See it right there? Zenas, poetic form, right? And then it's got gift offering. He's a love given or job given Zanas, a Christian. Yeah, he sure is a Christian, Zanas. It's another pagan deity from like Apollos, but it's a position. He was poetic. And this is found also of the same word we were looking for of lawyer, 3544. Okay. And that was the last word, nomikos, okay, expert of Torah, okay. Anyways, that's the 5th one. The last one is Nazir, which I'm going to forsake of the. We're not going to go through all the Nazir. We're just going to show it briefly, okay. The sect of the Nazir. And that's found in, that's the 6th sect. I'm sure there was a lot of there's people that they believe that the Dead Sea Scrolls were the essence. No, you can't even go that way because the essence were Greek guys from hundreds of years later, and they were eunuchs. But in the Yehudi that dug up the archaeological areas of the Dead Sea Scrolls and the villages and the people that lived there, they had families. They had wives and children, some. Okay? So they had, the goats, the sheep, they had a place to make bread, they had the mikvahs. They were not essence. I know there's Messianic people believe they were essence. Now, that's not true. I even found them, they were saying they were Pharisees, Sadducees, and essence. I said, what? When I read that in a dictionary, those guys were Greek 100 years later, hundreds of years later. They were not Hebrew during the time of the Mashiach. There, give me a break. What kind of twisted distortion is that of history? So let's go to 6:14. This is our last one, and then we're going to open the floor.
It says, for we have heard him saying that this Yahushua HaNazaret shall overthrow this place and change the institutions which Moshe, the institutes which Moshe delivered unto us.
So they're trying to slander him, that he's going to change the institute of Moshe. No, He was getting people back to the Torah of Moshe and out of rabbinical oral add-on. That's what he was doing. And and Yochanan, the immerser, started it. The high Kohen, he's the first one to start it. Go back to the Torah. Go back to the place when you enter Jordan. Take mikvah. Go back to the Torah of Moshe and stay out away from the leaven of the Pharisees. You know what I mean? So the second verse, next verse is 22:8, same book.
And I answered, "Who are you, Master?" And he said to me, "I am Yahushua HaNazaret, whom you persecute."
Okay, so he resurrects. He appears to him on the road to Damascus. The street calls straight. He gets straightened off his horse and he gets right. And Yahushua appears to him and says, "I am Yahushua the Nazir." All right? He didn't say he was the Christ. He didn't say he was the JC. He didn't say nothing else. He even didn't say Emmanuel, even though that's a term expression for him, Yah with us. He said he was Yahushua the Nazir. All right? And we're going to see who the Nazir are, if they're a sect or not, which I already told you, but we're going to do it anyway for the sake of the people that are looking. Let's go to chapter 24:5.
It says, "For having found this man a plague who stirs up dissension among all the Yehudim throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of Nazarenes."
Okay, so he's of the sect of the Nazir. A sect. Besides Pharisees, Sadducees, doctors, lawyers, the Sanhedrin, that's the 70 Sanhedrin selected among all the tribes or among the Pharisees and Sadducees. The 70 Sanhedrin say, we all agree that we disagree. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is today. If brother and I were go to Israel, graduate from rabbinical Talmud school, read the 60 volumes plus, and graduate, get our master's and degree, probably take 10 years because we didn't grow up in it. Then we have the credentials to ordain people in rabbinical Talmud, and we can start our own sect because we already went through their sect foundation. So this guy that's got this reform sect that are ordaining the liberal, you know what, broken wrist, sugar in the tank people, right? He must have went through the schools to get the credentials, and then he offshooted and started his own schools because he said he's got schools here in New York, right, to ordain them. Now, do all people accept their ordination? No. Just like today, we know there's the Christians in the Christian community, not all accept the ordination credentials of the Jehovah's Witnesses. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't accept the credentials of Christians. The Mormons don't accept the credentials of different Christians. The Christians don't accept the credentials of Mormon. But they went and got their credentials in order to cookie dough and stamp out and push out the door their own belief system to spread it. Okay? The sect of the Nazarene. Now let's look at chapter 28-22. This is the closing chapter, and get ready to unmute your mic.
"And we think it right to hear from you what you think. For indeed concerning this sect, we know that it is spoken against everywhere."
So, and of course, he answers right. He says, if you keep reading, brother. It's very beautiful what he says back to him.
It says, "And having appointed him a day, many came to him where he was staying, to whom he was explaining earnestly, witnessing about the reign of Eloah, and persuading them concerning Yahushua, from both the Torah of Moshe and the Nabi, from morning until evening. And some indeed were persuaded by what was said, but some believed not. And disagreeing with one another, they began to leave after Shaul had spoken one word. The set-apart spirit rightly spoke through Yeshayahu the Nabi to our fathers,
So
saying,
now, okay, so he agrees it's a sect, but he corrects it. He expounds on it. He didn't disclaim it. He didn't disclaim it. He said, I believe in the resurrection. I believe in Allah, Yahuwah. I believe in Malakim. That's why a lot of times when he went in court, he says, I'm a Pharisee. I believe in messengers, and I believe in the resurrection of the dead. Oops. Now he divided their camp. You know what I mean? Because he was educated. He knew what to do to divide and conquer them. You know what I mean? So this verse 22, for indeed concerning this sect, we know that is spoken against everywhere. Right? Because the Rabbinical Judaism community were running against them, coming against them. Don't read their book of Yasher. Don't read their book of Enoch. Stay away from them. They want you to go get immersed where Yochanan is immersing everybody, telling them to read the book of Moshe. They want to change our tradition of Rabbinical Judaism oral to only go back to Moshe. And we believe that we're above Moshe. So they were living large in charge. And they were belittling the group. Just like today, we're being belittled. We go in Jerusalem, they're in charge. They're living large. They're dressed white and black. And if you come dressed like an ancient Yehudi or just normal with sandals and your zizits and a kippah all crooked, oh, you're not Zadik Talmudim Kodeshim. You're not righteous. You're something else. You're a foreigner. You're a stranger. You know what I mean? And that's what they're doing today to us, of our belief system, our understanding that we follow the Mashiach, Nazir, the Nazarene, the Nazarite. We follow him. We are studying through him. We're at the feet of the Ruach Kadosh, teaching us the understanding of the resurrection of the dead, of the understanding of the Zadok Kohanim, the understanding of the Torah of Moshe, the understanding, different than them. When they ask you, are you Jewish, Christian, or a Jew? You say, no, I'm not Rabbinical Judaism. I am of the Torah of Moshe. You want to claim to be Yehuda? Say, I am from the house of Yehuda. I am Beth Yehuda, right? You could claim that. I'm Yehudi. In Israel, when you go to a store and they see you, and the Yehudi will say, are you a Mizrahi Yehudi? They'll say, the Mizrahis, my wife and I have been in their shops. They see me in my brown skin. They right away, they see my wife. They think she's Mizrahi also, right? Because the women are short. And they say, oh, they don't say, are you Jewish? Are you Jew? No. These guys from the land will look at me in the store and say, I am Yehudi. You know, the Torah of Moshe. And they say, oh, Mizrahi. They'll think you're Mizrahi because of your complexion. You know what I mean? And you're not claiming to be Jew because the Mizrahis are persecuted. The Yemenite are persecuted even though they're there. Do they have Torah? They read the Torah of Moshe. Some, because of political stress, have grafted in to get credentials and move up the ladder and get leadership positions and work up the ladder in workplaces, right? They kind of, hid among the woodshed and worked their way in order to get good jobs and everything, but they don't follow that stuff, okay? They just do it because the Rabbinical Judaism, the Ashkenaz, are living charge and large there. So this is the scriptures, the proof. These are the proof that they're six sect of beliefs. And this is a final proof, confirming from the 2 weeks ago of the Nazir, Yeshua, the Nazarite, the Nazir, Nazarim, the Nazareth, okay? The sect of that belief system. Yochanan was a Zodak Koheni, and he was a Nazir. He was called a Nazir because he was preaching the Nazir to read the Torah of Moshe.